Hey, we did it! Sweet. Hey there guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and today we're looking at how to farm Scarlet Monastery. This dungeon's located in northeast Tirisfal Glade, and is the instance on the left once you actually run inside the chapel. Now, to get there, you want to Hearth to Legion Dalaran, then take the Dalaran Crater Portal, fly past the proof that Sylvanas is just a terrible leader, and then point your camera at the little steeple in, way off in the distance. Too long didn't read on this. Go out here and run this dungeon because it is thoroughly good. So much gold in Transmog. I actually haven't done a guide on this spot because back when 7.3.5 changes hit, this is one of the dungeons that was affected by the unobtainable loot. It was tied up in the Zul'Farrak fiasco, so it was dropping stuff that wasn't supposed to be dropping. It wasn't on the loot table. And so I didn't feel comfortable recommending it because that's technically against the terms of service, even though it's Blizzard's mistake. But I recently talked with Student, and he convinced me that, any changes to the loot table have been out for 2 patches. Blizzard's had time to fix it, so anything that drops here is intended to drop. If I'm trying to be all, honest farming, maybe I shouldn't have opened this video with a literal wall hack. Okay, so Transmog is very RNG based, so I did 100 runs, 5 hours of farming to give y'all accurate data, and here's my loot appraiser numbers for all 100 runs. Only about 2/3 of this is stuff that I'm actually going to be selling because on average, each run you'll get about 2 items worth 200 or 300 gold, but you'll also get 1 item per run that sells for an average of 3.2k. Every 5 runs, you'll get something with an average of 12k. And if you're prepared to go hard, every 20 or 30 runs, you'll get an item like an Uber drop that's worth 50 to 400k. That gives us a lowball average of every 10 runs at over 108,000 gold. But if we assume that no one watching this video will get those super rare drops and you only get the 2k and 10k plus items, that means each run is valued at an average of 7,200 gold. That's 70k in 30 minutes. Now, these numbers are based off a 2-week regional average, but even if you're on a high pop and everything is worth half that, then that's still 6 times what you can get with current content, mining, and herbalism. So, what are you doing right now? Are you doing laps around Stormwind or Orgrimmar? Then stop. Go out here and run this dungeon. Okay, so for the dungeon itself, we just care about how quickly we can run through, kill everything, and run out. So the go-to speed spec is Feral Druid with a Lunar Inspiration talent, but if you have Havoc or a speed set, you can go ahead and use that. I use Bear Tartar. Yes, it was nerfed, but it's still faster than not using it. It still gives you a buff. And here's my route. You'll notice that I do skip a lot of trash on my way through the dungeon, and that's because we kill it on our way back out. With Bear Tartar, you want to always be killing something to keep your buff up, and so we spread out the enemies we kill over the course of the dungeon. I also take advantage of pre-grouping a lot and just AoE looting in general. So download the faster loot add-on, and for things like the spread out ghosts, you want to tag one of them and the rest will kind of aggro and group up on their way to you. That's what I mean by pre-grouping. And that way you can just AoE once and loot once. When you do learn the range of your AoE and loot radius, there's lots of little optimization stuff like that in this dungeon. But pretty much, if you can save 20 global cooldowns over the course of 1 run, then that's 30 seconds per lap that you're saving. That's 5 minutes over the course of 10 runs. Long story short, if you can get the same amount of loot faster, you're literally just increasing your gold per hour. But honestly, the dungeon's pretty straightforward other than that. Don't attack the last boss, have an add-on like scrap, or sell junk to automate vendoring of the grays and boss drops, and then make sure you have Trade Skill Master or Loot Appraiser so you know when you get one of those expensive drops that are worth keeping. I can clear this in about 2 minutes 50 seconds now, but if I were to critique myself, I'm not using Skull Bash enough to gap close, I'm not using Savage Roar enough, and if I swapped over to Wild Charge in cat form rather than use Tiger Dash, it would probably be faster, but I do like the little trick where if you jump while using Tiger Dash, it's actually faster because you don't drop off speed. Like Tiger Dash drops off the speed boost over time, and if you're jumping through the air, it kind of snapshots the speed boost. So that's nice. But pretty much there's too much micromanaging for me with those changes, and 3 minutes is good enough. So, moral of the story, go out here. This dungeon is the bomb. It's so good. Tons of super expensive transmog here. And it's kind of like Uldaman in that you get consistent high value items with, occasional holy shit drops that you can't help but like share with your guildies and brag about. This guide is a great dungeon for you to link to friends who are just getting into gold making and are asking, they're trying to get into the transmog game. Just as good as Uldaman, but shorter and less confusing for a new farmer. That's it for me though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. If you have any tips or recommendations for me of how to do this dungeon faster, I learn just as much from you guys as hopefully you learn from me. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Good luck and happy gold making.